Well, good evening. I am joined to do a little Oilers offseason trade targets and what needs to happen before next season with my good friend Chad Graham. Bob the goalie was supposed to be joining us tonight, but family emergency came up, so he couldn't make it. But I'm pleased to be joined by Chad. How you doing?
I'm the other goalie.
yes, you are. Oh man.
I'm good.
So you kind of told me off air you haven't really watched much of anything in this, since the Oilers kind of got bounced here from the playoffs. Have you watched any of Florida's games at all?
Oh yeah. I'm not going to say I haven't. I'm just not going to be excited that there's still hockey on when my team's playing golf.
Yeah, no, I hear this, and it's funny. I got a buddy that I had on the show, but the audio was terrible. His name is Chris. He's from Worcester, Massachusetts, big Bruins fan. And I thought we'd almost be talking about Oilers Bruins kind of, in a week from now. And, they got bounced, and so did we. But every day I see the guy on Facebook and he's posting all these like Leafs memes, and I'm like, maybe this is the year to kind of sit the summer out. I mean, you guys had a historic, regular season and then shit the bed in the first round. So maybe leave the Leafs alone for a year, seeing this is the year they actually got further than you. But
yep, I would probably be careful with that one.
It's kind of a little funny to me, but oh man. So I guess I was wondering if you had any, trades that you'd like to make this off season for any position, which would it be? And I see you sort of shaking your head no. I think there is some changes that need to be made.
I definitely think we should trade Dustin Schwartz for a couple of Gatorades. That would make me happy. That would be an upgrade. A couple of Gatorades. Just make sure that, Connor and Leon both get a couple extra Gatorades in the game and get rid of Schwartzy because he's a loser. I'm not gonna let go of this. I'm sorry. We played Campbell after game 2 in against LA, and we're still playing. It's that simple.
You know what?
And no, Campbell's not going anywhere, people. So don't expect him to be gone in the off season.
Yeah, no, I'll let you have your Dustin Schwartz rants. It doesn't really offend me whatsoever. The one thing I'll say is I think there needs to be an improvement on our right side on our D. I think they really need to try to get that position improved a little bit. I don't think Cody Ceci is a caliber of D on the right side.
Really?
That's going to get you to the Stanley Cup and win it.
Man, and I thought actually CC played really well. He was super consistent, hard. I actually preferred him over a guy like Desharnais or any of he's on the outside, but I liked CC in the playoffs. I was actually constantly talking about how impressed I was by CC.
I think he maximized his talent level in the playoffs. So, like, to his credit, that's great. I think we need, the difference with Ekholm joining Bouchard versus anybody else we could put with Bouchard. I mean, you saw what that did, right? That got him to a level that I don't think he's ever seen before, and I think that gained him some confidence and is going to do him a world of good. I think Nurse gets a lot of flack, and it's not all Darnell Nurse. Does Nurse have deficiencies? Absolutely, but I think he needs a better partner. And Cody Ceci, is a fine player if he's lower in your lineup, but to expect him to be out there 20 some odd minutes a night, I think that's a recipe for some heartache. And this team doesn't need to score more. They just need to learn how to defend a little bit better in tight games.
I don't disagree with you, but that goes back to bad coaching. I mean, at the end of the day, like in the 80s, if the Oilers would score 8 goals and they'd have 7 scored against them, but the key was they scored 8 and they never let that 8th one back in. So what was so great about the Oilers in the 80s? Was it stellar defense? Fuck, half our defensemen wanted to score goals. What was the key to the 80s? What was the key to any great team that makes it? What's the key to Florida right now? Why is Florida kicking the shit out of Carolina?
They've dispatched Carolina already. I think the real reason why Florida is, risen to the occasion is Sergei Bobrovsky. I don't think
exactly.
I don't think there's any secret there.
No,
but
the 06 Oilers got to the finals because they had Rolling. Let's face it, goaltending is so fucking important in the playoffs. It's everything in the playoffs. You can have oopsies in your defensive end. You can have a kick-ass offense and not have to be stupidly disciplined in your own end and have all these great multi-million-dollar defensemen if your fucking goalie can save the puck.
Yeah, I think, what, I don't think you can compare Bobrovsky to Grant Fuhr. I think it's a different thing completely. Bobrovsky's winning games, 2-0, and 3-2, and a lot of 3-2 games. He's got to be pretty much lights out. Grant was lights out the last 5 minutes of the third period
when he had to be.
Yeah.
We haven't had that in forever. We haven't had that since Cujo or Rolly, actually.
Yeah. No, Rolly was on a heater, and certainly Curtis Joseph was too.
Yep.
Do you see a sophomore slump with Skinner, or do you think he'll just be kind of robotic like he was this year and use what he learned in the playoffs and kind of build off that?
Yeah, I think Skinner is going to be great. I'm not worried about Stuart Skinner. I think they made a humongous mistake running him this season because this wasn't his season. This is why they brought Jack Campbell here. We had a terrible season, Chad. Fucking who cares? It's playoff time now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't disagree with that kind of thinking at all. I think they should have gave him a chance, and they never did. Angel is here.
I see that.
He says, "How about Aiden?" I said he was better than I don't know.
Blah blah.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Well, unfortunately, blah is actually he's playing really well. He's definitely a good goaltender. I don't think he's going to win the Conn Smythe if Florida wins. We had that conversation too on who should win the Conn Smythe. Yeah, Campbell definitely should have been in.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have put Campbell in the last game of the season. I don't think that would have been fair to him, really, honestly. I've thought about that a lot. I think he deserved the net before then.
Yeah. Campbell should have started the playoffs.
I don't know about that, but I definitely think after that showing in LA,
Why wouldn't you have started Campbell in the playoffs? Just out of curiosity, why would you have not started Campbell?
Because he hadn't started for a long time before that, leading up to it. Skinner's the guy that got him into the playoffs.
Sure. Is Jack Campbell a professional goaltender?
Sure.
Does he have a bunch of playoff experience under his belt?
You're looking at, Campbell's...
Answer the question. Does he have a bunch of playoff experience under his belt?
You call 15 games a bunch of playoff experience?
Sure. Fucking 15 games more than Skinner.
Right. But still...
Okay, next. Next question. What other teams did Jack Campbell play for?
Toronto, LA.
And... Oh, so he's going to be playing against a team that he used to play for. So he might know a thing or two about their shit.
Possibly.
Just saying. It's just piss poor coaching. Sorry, man.
I
don't give a shit what Skinner did.
That works both ways, though, right?
Sure. Absolutely. But after watching him come in and steal a game for us against LA, they forgot all about Jack.
They probably didn't get the scouting report other than the guys that been on his team before that already had it.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is that it was a huge mistake. Running with a rookie, I know that they want some storybook bullshit ending. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But even if, fine, start with Skinner. You want to get him some games, and I understand all that. I'm on board with it. I love Skinner. I do. But after Campbell saves the day, literally, in LA, he gets the start. He had six periods of hockey and 1 goal scored on him.
Angel says Kings traded for Corpy and paid him to play in the playoffs, and Copley deserved it, but Corpy came for that reason. Campbell was paid to play the playoffs.
100%.
I think Jack Campbell was brought into the Edmonton Oilers to be a starter, and he lost his way, and Skinner outplayed him through the season.
But he didn't. Look at his record. Everybody thinks that he shit the bed. He didn't.
Yeah, but
he wasn't that bad.
Look at his save percentage.
I don't give a shit about that. How many games did he win? How many games did he lose? That's what matters.
Does that matter in the playoffs?
Yeah. In the playoffs, it was a whole different... What's his save percentage in the playoffs?
Oh, I know.
So...
It works both ways. You're making an argument based on hindsight of what he did in the playoffs versus what he did in the regular season, really.
I don't get... I care about... I would look in Jack's eyes as a coach and say, "Do you want this or not? You're the veteran here, and if he looks at me and says, I fucking want this, go play then. Go show me."
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that to the guy that really made sure you were going to make the playoffs.
Is Stuart Skinner a team player or not? Do you think he's going to give a shit as long as we win a cup? That's what I want to know.
I think you have to look at it though also for the future of your organization.
Well, if they're that weak-minded, then I'm really scared.
No, I think Skinner could have went on a Jordan Binnington run. He didn't, but he could have.
No. No, he never was gonna. Watch him all season long. He's solid, but he's an easy read. He's big, he's solid, but you got to know going in, that rookie is going to be fucking terrified at the hype. Binnington didn't have the hype of being an Oiler with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. He didn't have that.
He didn't have the help of that either, though.
No, they had a bunch of other players step up and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Exactly. Angel's right. Campbell did not suck this year. This is why I'm mad. It was like, well, he's terrible. I'm like, no, he's not.
No, I don't think he was terrible, but I don't think you go into the first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs riding Jack Campbell, who'd been lousy for a long time leading up.
Against the team he used to play for, his scouting report's going to be great.
Like Jack got a lot of his wins early on in the season, and then he got real cold.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't find it again.
Oh, he found it.
Well, he found it in the playoffs.
Both Skinner and Campbell played awesome at the end of the season. Both of them did. Both of them got their shutouts finally. They both did.
Do you notice it? I guess you haven't been watching much, but the one thing I've noticed with Florida, they are hard to get through.
Sure.
Like on the defensive end, And that is something the Oilers could learn from them.
Sure.
A
But you pick one.
A lot of their shots that end up happening are like it's one guy that breaks through and just puts a shot on net, and then they get the rebound and get out. Like
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that we need to get stronger defensively. However, if we played against Florida like we did in the season and beat them both times, they don't have the offensive strength. They're not going to beat Dallas or Vegas. They're not. And if they do, then I know who the Conn Smythe Trophy is going to.
Well, I know who it should go to, but I think there's a debate about it.
Who do you think it should go to?
I think it should go to Bobrovsky. I don't think it's even close. But Tkachuk with 3 overtime winning goals and all this nonsense is going to make a case for himself and already has.
Sure. I think regardless, it goes to Gary Bettman.
Either team, eh?
Yeah. He's going to win the Conn Smythe no matter who wins. So do I. I think Vegas is going to win, or Dallas, whoever. I mean, they're kind of short Jamie Benn now, which sucks. But
yeah, I'll tune in. I'll tune into kind of the game here to get an update.
Me either.
It looks like it's heading to overtime. Honestly, it's 2-2 with 1:40 to go. If my score app is up to date.
I don't like any Tkachuk either. Even Keith.
You know what? I would take Matthew or Brady on the Oilers in a second.
I'd take them over Pool Party.
Yeah, and if you did that, if you redrafted that, then other things would have to change because you wouldn't be able to afford Draisaitl, McDavid, and Tkachuk. It just wouldn't happen.
No.
Unless you want to Toronto yourself into a corner. Yeah, no, I'm okay with not having Matthew Tkachuk on my team. I'm okay with not having Brady Tkachuk on my team, but those kind of players, I don't mind. And probably at this stage of the game, for the longest time, I wouldn't have minded Brad Marchand on the Oilers too. But at this
you bite your tongue. You bite your stinking goddamn tongue.
No, I mean the guy scores goals. He gets in people's heads and
he reminds me of Ken Linsman. That rat can stay in Boston.
Not quite as ratty as Ken Linsman, but I get your point.
Yeah.
No, your point is valid.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes you need that, like a little bit of a shit disturber. I guess we have that sort of in Evander Kane already, but
exactly, we have one, and he can score goals when he wants to.
Yeah. See,
shows up.
What I see for the Oilers is they need to make two different. They need two different things to happen this summer. They need to bring back a lot of what they had last year, but last year wasn't good enough. Let's face it. So I think there needs to be an improvement on that right side, and Cody Ceci is the target. Your point about Desharnais, I mean, the guy scared me when he was not inside our end, but at the far blue line or at the red line or even our own blue line. There was a few times, I don't know if it was decision making or just straight out skating that victimized him, but and I if I've got a fault in Kulak, I think he needs to recognize that part of Desharnais' game's a bit suspect. So cover him up a little better because he definitely can skate well enough to cover that up.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think Kulak is somebody that needs to stay on our team. I really enjoyed watching him play.
For sure.
I like he's local.
Yeah.
I love that he's a local boy. I think that he's got a place here. I think the guys like him.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that's in my head, so I've kind of mentioned right shot D. The other thing that's in my head is fixing right wing too. I think they thought Puljujärvi and Yamamoto were going to be more effective than they proved to be. So you need like a legitimate right winger that can actually put the puck in the net and not just try hard.
Yeah. Well, we got to find some money.
Yeah. Yeah, so Holland needs to get his shit together and actually do some quality GM work because I think this year we need to win a cup. Like it has to happen now.
Yep.
Enough nibbling around the edges and actually go out there and do it.
Yep.
Otherwise, things get complicated, and I don't want to get into the doomsday scenarios and all that bullshit. But yeah, it needs to happen now.
Yeah. I'm pissed. You know why I'm pissed off, and I'm going to continue to be pissed off because we had the goaltender that was going to at least give us the best chance, and it wasn't Skinner. I hate to say it. It just wasn't. I love Stu, but he's just not there. He's a rookie, and he wasn't the guy.
Well, I think you saw kind of like, how he struggled, and there was nobody like decided, okay, let's try to make the change and see what happens.
100%.
And so I don't know if it's courage or what, but that move just never was made. So
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because I know that like, what's his name? Our coach. Holy Christ.
Woodcroft, yeah.
Wood, whatever. He's great. The guys like him, but he's just. I think he struggles with making that tough decision. I really do, especially since he's ride or die with Stewart from back at Bakersfield.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's the romantic, theology of going with the horse that got you there, and well, it didn't get you any further.
The horse needed water, and you needed to use the backup horse.
Yeah, like, I mean, the guy could have been criticized no matter what. He puts Campbell in, and he fails, and you're on him that way too. So
at that point, though, what do you have to lose on the criticism?
Nothing, and that's kind of what I think too. Is though, to be fair to Jack, and actually to be fair to Stu, make that switch earlier than the 11th hour. The doomsday clocks at 5 to midnight, and you make that change. Like, do it earlier.
Yeah, 100%.
And it sucks for Skinner because a third of the games he was pulled in them.
Yeah.
A third of his playoff starts he was pulled in. So that's not a very good ratio. I don't think you want to keep that up.
No. And at the end of the day, like Jack was ready to go. He proved it. I mean, he won us the game against LA completely by himself.
Yeah.
And he did. He totally did. And every time he came in to bail out Stewart or just bail out Skinner, he was stellar. Every time.
Angel says, I don't think he's the coach to take you to the promised land. I'm not sure about that. I think coaches go through a learning curve too. And 2 years in a row, I mean, he beat his protege. And you can say, well, that was McDavid and Draisaitl, and yeah, I guess, but the Oilers found a way to pretty much nullify a trap.
He was 100% outcoached by Vegas. Oh yeah, he was totally outcoached by Vegas, no question about it. And yes, Jack should have been in since game 2 of the LA series, actually, Angel.
I think this team, there's a maturity issue in a certain aspect, though. Game 1, they weren't even in the game of the Vegas series. Like, they were not in that hockey game. They were still playing against the LA Kings, and Vegas is not the LA Kings. They did not.
No, they had too much open. They had too much open ice and didn't know they were fucking shocked.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can pin that all on coaching. Maybe some of it. Maybe you can say they weren't prepared enough. But I think some of that goes on the players too.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And against LA, I think they got lucky or got away with being a little undisciplined and not really like fully mature in their approach. And you couldn't do that against Vegas. Vegas didn't let them. Vegas, I don't want to gift everything to Vegas because I think a little bit in that series we beat ourselves.
Oh yeah.
But it's us beating ourselves is kind of points to what I'm, I guess, hinting at is this team still needs to grow up a little bit mentally. Like, Kane taking that penalty against Pietrangelo is probably the reason why Pietrangelo fucking tried to chop off Leon's arm later in the series. But I mean, that kind of stuff, you don't really need that. You can play physical and you can run guys through the wall and you can do it clean without going to the penalty box.
Yeah, our penalties were an issue this off season or this postseason for sure. Yeah. Huge issue. But I don't know. I'm gonna ride or die with a piss poor coaching decision when it comes to who should have been in net. End of story. I think that Jack showed me signs of Rolly-esque maneuvering, his passion, his fire, the way he played his angles. He was in every single shot. He was in it. And I'm pissed off that he didn't get a chance because this team, mature enough or not, this team still should have at least made the finals.
Well, I think that's part of it. And I also think, let's face it, to go all the way to win the Stanley Cup, a lot has to go in your favor. No matter who you are. It's Boston dominated the regular season. They get into the playoffs and couldn't do it. Well, what happened the game before their playoffs started? Do you know?
Which one?
The Bruins. Their last regular
season. Yeah, it was a great game. Yeah.
No, their last regular season game, I mean.
I don't know.
Patrice Bergeron got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And our little march here to the, through the playoffs, Zach Hyman was hurt. Kane was hurt. The rumors were running wild about McDavid, getting hurt in practice and Rashog tweeting out the practice video of him kind of holding his knee for a second. And, so like injuries, how many bounces do you think we really got in the first two rounds of the playoffs? Or breaks? All these things play a little bit of a role, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think that we gave ourselves our best chance. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I think, at some point there was, I think, a bit of a confidence thing going on with Stu.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, and it went up and down, but it's almost like every other night he was getting the hook.
Yep.
Especially as it went on. And I mean, that's tough. And in games that weren't totally out of hand yet either. It wasn't like it was 7-1 when he was getting pulled.
Nope.
They were down 2 or down 3.
Then they get 3 in 3 minutes.
Yeah. and putting them back in is great. Okay, you build them back up a little bit, but as soon as it starts to go bad again, then like, all the things run through your mind. I mean, you're a goalie, you know what it's like.
Oh yeah.
And so when you start again, is it like, here we go again as soon as the first adversity starts to happen?
100%. And the problem is that Stewart was playing. He was playing scared and timid because he did not want to make a mistake. He didn't. Period. He didn't want to. And when he did, it was literally life-shattering for him.
Yeah, Campbell had a little bit more of the "I got nothing to lose" attitude, and that can work for you, and it can work against you too, because you can get into riverboat gambling when.
He didn't really have he wanted to win, but he didn't have that same timidness or fear. Yeah. He didn't have it. He just didn't. He wanted to win. He knew how to play his game. He was aggressive. He was exactly everything I said that needed to happen for a goaltender to win a Stanley Cup. And Schwartz, fuck you. I hope you're fired.
Yeah, and you
been saying that for a few years now, haven't I?
Oh man, I mean this. like I've said this before, that he's like a cockroach at that can survive a nuclear attack.
100%. I don't know what he's got, what pictures of whose wife or whatever he's got, but they need to just out it.
I honestly, at this stage of the game, we're a couple of weeks beyond the end of the season. I think if they were going to let him go, it already would have happened. So I don't suspect that he'll be gone. So it's another year with Dustin Schwartz as your goalie coach is kind of where my mindset is.
Well, then I feel bad for Jack and Stu.
Yeah. Well, I've heard from other people that these guys really don't pay attention to their goalie coaches. They have their own goalie coaches and
Woodcroft does.
And all this stuff. Well, I understand that. I just mean like the actual goalies themselves. They've got their own goalie coaches and they're getting their own stuff. And I don't know. I think
it's not about the goalie coaching. Koskinen's the only one that got truly screwed by, and actually I think Talbot did too, but truly screwed by Schwartz because Koski came over to North America having to listen to Schwartz. Mike Smith didn't change his game.
No.
Period. But what I'm worried about is that Schwartz is the one who basically is feeding Woodcroft the information that he needs. That's a problem.
Well, like Bobby said, right? Part of a goalie coaching, job is to give the scouting report on the other team, and when we're making guys that are rookies the same as Skinner look like Vezina Trophy winners in Aiden Hill. They found a hole in Korpisalo, but they didn't find one in Aiden Hill.
No.
So
no. I just don't. I think Schwartz is an idiot, and I'd rather see a guy like Mike Smith be our goalie coach than
you know what? Schwartz. Even if he's not an idiot, even if he's qualified, it's just like after this much time and not having success and not really seeing a goalie really flourish for more than a season, that begs the question of why don't we try somebody else just to try somebody else.
Yeah,
I
don't disagree.
Yeah, like
bring Rolly in.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that too. There's a guy that's doing broadcasting now that I think would make a hell of a goalie coach too. Henrik Lundqvist,
Is that what he's doing, or did he go?
Yeah. No, he's
cool.
he's I think TNT or ESPN or one of the American networks. He's on there doing their stuff, and I mean,
he'd be great.
He breaks down plays and he, he'll be in between the net, and Jennifer Botterill will come and try to take a slap shot on him and almost hit him in the face. And it's awesome. No, he'd be great.
Angel, you're 100% right. You're 110% right. There's no question that Jack doesn't ever feel. I guarantee you, especially when they were down in LA. When Campbell came in, his only thought process was nothing goes in the net, these guys will score.
Oh, man. Angel keeps writing novels, so I got to keep adjusting the chat window there.
I love it. I'll read it. I'll read them all.
Yeah. No, it's good.
And when your captain, the guy who's going to win you the cup, is basically not saying, but saying, we have a capable goaltender, you fucking play him.
Yeah. I mean, I wish he would have got a chance. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think he needed a shot. And I would have rather it had been earlier, in the Vegas series. Or even in the LA series.
Yeah. It's irritating to my mind because all I can see is what would have happened if they just went with Soupy and whatever happens.
I mean, looking back in hindsight is easy too. I mean, you can always think it's going to go a different way.
No. I've been calling this since they started. The Vegas series started. I said, play Soupy. Actually, LA, I said, keep him in net. If they go back to Skinner, I told my wife, I told everybody around me, if they go back to Skinner after he saved their ass, they're done. I said that.
You know what? I gotta go back and look because I don't have it on me. But in game 1, did they make a switch?
No.
No, and they probably should have because they were getting shelled in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that might have been the move there to see what you had right there and then.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
you know, along the route of going to win a cup, I would say at least one game, probably 2, maybe even 3. You need your goalie to steal a game.
Yes.
At least one.
And Campbell came in and stole one that they were getting their asses kicked in.
I mean a complete game though, not a.
I know, but
you're right. But I mean not a relief appearance. To me, that doesn't count. You need your goalie to stand on his head for 60 minutes straight to win you a hockey game that really you have no business winning.
And as a coach, when I see my guy come in when we shouldn't have won, stand on his fucking head while we go and win, that's for me as a coach is like, you're my guy. Let's see how you do next game.
Yeah. Let's
give you a game and see how you do that.
Yeah. So honestly, Campbell probably should have come in relief in game 1. If he didn't, I need to confirm that with myself, I guess. But and then you know what? Then maybe game 2 would have been the game there, and give him a start.
Yeah.
And see what you have. I guess Woodcroft was the his demise came at his own kind of fluky success, I guess, because every time they put Campbell in and then they'd go back to Skinner the next game, Stu would win until it really mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not a recipe for success.
No, it just, you're kind of delaying the inevitable, right?
Yes. And then after Campbell comes in relief again against Vegas, why wouldn't you just give Soupy a chance? Like change it up. Connor saying it, they're all saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I told you that on the podcast. I said, if they don't start him, I'm fucking not watching the game. Because it would be the worst decision ever. And it was.
Angel's saying, about stealing a game. Yeah, I think Skinner right now is kind of the steady influence, but when Campbell has his A game, you know, he was active in the net, and sometimes that can burn you, but sometimes you're playing, right?
It very rarely burns you, and he proved it. How many goals? 1 goal got through him in the entire fucking time he played.
And I don't think the reason why you win and lose is fully on your goalie. So I'm going to go back to
it. Is. And Angel brings up a good point. If you're terrified that your goalie is going to let the goal in, defensively, you're also timid and you're also scared. And you're making bad decisions. You're making safe decisions that they're just not working out for you. You look at the Oilers in 06. You look when Rolison was like batting pucks down the ice. You think that Prawer and Bert, all those guys worried about being super tight and super defensive and crazy defensive? Fuck no. They were trying to score goals because they didn't have any offense. And they knew if they screwed up, Rolly was going to bail them out. They knew it. They didn't even think about it. They knew it.
The one thing I'll say is if you're terrified that every shot's going to go in the net when you got a goalie you don't trust, you tend not to really take any risks.
But that's the thing. They didn't take any risks when they should have been taking a lot more.
Yeah. So your offensive game goes in the tank, and then you're forced to win games 3-2 or 2-1.
Yeah, and hope that if you do make one oopsie in your defensive zone, that your goalie's not letting the fucking puck in under a skate against the post.
Just seeing Friedman tweet out Dallas is going to go on the power play with Braden McNabb taking a high-sticking penalty in overtime, so maybe Dallas can get a game and make that series a little bit more of an event. Yeah, what do you think? Like, if Edmonton did break through with Vegas there, I don't think they would have had any trouble with Dallas. And are you kind of surprised that Jake Ottinger is looking really human in this series too? I was actually worried that playing Dallas that was going to be a big ask to try to solve him, but doesn't look like Vegas is having too much trouble with him.
He's looking injured too, though.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking hurt.
And I guess on the Dallas subject, Jamie Benn gets a 2-gamer for giving Mark Stone a nice little cross-check to the head. I think the only reason it was 2 games is because he's not been an angel on the ice, and he's a repeat offender. I think that's the only difference between him and Pietrangelo. Not that Pietrangelo's an angel, but you know what I mean.
No. Again, it's Bettman winning the Conn Smythe Trophy. I'm pretty sure that Vegas and Florida would make for a great TV timeout for the NHL. So Gary can have his fun, and we'll all enjoy Gary until Gary's gone.
You'll I don't know if you saw Michael's show on Tuesday, but he had Dale Sheehan on there, and it was kind of a lot of the show was to do with sports betting. And a team in Vegas odds makers, all that definitely makes for interesting conversation and kind of makes you wonder. I mean, I've never really thought about point shaving when it comes to hockey, but if you were into point shaving, and you were a bookie or kind of a mafia kind of guy looking for somebody to talk to when it came to the hockey world, I know who I'd be talking to when it comes to players, and it wouldn't be a forward and it wouldn't be a defenseman.
No, it'd be the Conn Smythe Trophy winning Gary Bettman.
No, it'd be the goalie.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You want a point shave, that's the guy you look to. You're just going to let 5 in tonight so we're on the over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought about it before until Michael's show on Tuesday, but that definitely made me think. Angel loves your Bettman for Conn Smythe.
Well, that's who I think should win it.
And I like how he spells Conn Smythe.
Bittman?
Like
I like that.
I like how Bittman, Conn Smythe, and he spells it like Ryan Smith.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, well, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. So we got about 3 seconds. We got to go.
Peace. Love you.
Over and out, everybody. Thanks for watching.